Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. Following the successful conclusion of the bilateral talks, I now have the pleasure of inviting the foreign ministers of Ghana and Angola to proceed to the table to sign two critical agreements. First is the Memorandum of Understanding on general cooperation in critical areas between Angola and Ghana, and that will be followed by a joint communique on the visit. The respective heads of states may please proceed to the table. A round of applause for the two. Thank you very much. The next is the joint communique on the visit. Thank you very much. Signing ceremony over. May I respectfully invite the heads of state to proceed to the podium. The foreign ministers may take their positions. I now hand over to the Deputy Director of Communications to
exchange of views based on a common understanding of how, at this stage in the history of our countries and of our continent and region, we should proceed towards a better future for our peoples. In the past, even in pre-colonial times, Ghanaian fishermen found their way to Angola, who established relations as far back as then. And then in the struggle for freedom for our continent, the liberation from colonial rule, our two peoples and governments cooperated very strongly. Today, we're cooperating again as multi-party democratic states to address the issues of development, progress, and prosperity in our continent. We see the future in Africa in the solidarity of the African peoples and their ability to cooperate and work together to develop the continent. Your visit here is a strong indication of the willingness of your own people and your government to go down this same path of solidarity and cooperation. There are many areas of mutual interest that tie our two countries together, whether it is in the development of our hydrocarbon resources and the exploitation of our mineral resources, the development of our agriculture, the development of our educational systems based on science and technology advancement. There are so many areas of common interest where the successful cooperation between our two countries can be of great benefit to our peoples. We have also the very important task ahead of us, how we can work together to rid our common seas, the Gulf of Guinea, of the menace of piracy, which is now confronting it. It's not a good idea that today the Gulf of Guinea is reckoned as perhaps the most dangerous seas in the world. And it's extremely important that we find an opportunity within the context of the Gulf of Guinea Commission, which is already in existence, to have the development and the cooperation of Angola and of Ghana. I'm very, very happy that you found the time to reciprocate my visit to Angola and that you're here. Our people are happy to have you with us, and we hope that the brief time that you'll be here, you and the First Lady of Angola, that you will find it to be a fruitful and successful trip, and that it will go towards reinforcing and strengthening the already excellent relations that we have between our two countries. As you know by now, Akwaba is our word of welcome. So I say to you, Mr. President, and your delegation, Akwaba, and wish you the very best in your short stay with us.
Okay, muito obrigado.
Long established between our two peoples, the people of Angola and the people of Ghana. Our relations are historical. We had a common past of being colonized countries, and we fought together, and we've won together. And together we are building democracies in our two countries, that is in Angola and in Ghana. But this visit has as main purpose, above all, to try to find the best ways to strengthen economic cooperation relations between our two countries. We would like to find here on our own continent of Africa many of the solutions that sometimes we seek out of our continent. It is for this reason that we have not only adopted but also we have ratified the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Zone, whose secretariat is based here in the city of Accra, the capital of Ghana, and which tomorrow I'll have the opportunity to visit. In Luanda, a few days ago, I received the executive secretary of that organization, who briefed me about the first steps that have been taken towards making that organization into an organization that is able to comply with the role for which it was established. It was established precisely in order to ensure economic integration of our countries, integration of the economies of the African countries. In the meeting we had minutes ago, we have concluded that it is a process that will be long but possible if all countries commit themselves, because we have not created the organization just by will of having it there, but we have created it because we want effectively to change the current status of things on the continent. We want to see our countries interconnected by the various means of communications, interconnected by road, by highways, by railways, with maritime connections and air connections, so that we cannot maintain the current absurd situation of having to fly through Europe before visiting a sister country in our own continent. We would like to develop this big economic potential that is still dormant on our continent. Our continent boasts itself of being one of the part of the world that hosts the major natural resources reserves, but we just want to continue saying that we are potentially rich. We want to become effectively rich, and that will only happen, that will only rely on us as Africans if we take steps. Nobody will give it to us for granted. Either we achieve that milestone of making a sprint of potentially rich countries to effectively rich countries, or nobody will do that for us. This instrument that we've just established, that entered into force in January this year, the African Continental Free Trade Area, is an important tool that will provide us with that possibility of transitioning from raw material exporter countries to countries that create wealth in their own land. President Nana Akufo-Addo, you have just mentioned a situation of concern to all of us, which is the security situation in the Gulf of Guinea. The Gulf of Guinea, comprised by various African countries, amongst which Angola and Ghana are included, is a maritime route, is an international maritime route that is important, that has to do with the good development of international trade. Therefore, it is our responsibility to defend not only in our national interest, but also a regional interest, but above all, the interest of the international community, which without this important route can see their economies very seriously affected. We are concerned, and we are committed as much as possible to do our utmost in order to provide a different dynamics to that very important organization. Mr. President, we would like to seize this occasion to thank you for the hospitality of the Ghanaian people, for the way that we've been received since our arrival yesterday in Accra, and the very cordial manner how today we've held not only the private meeting between the two heads of state, but also the conversations between the two delegations of government that culminated not only with the signing of the agreements, but also with the adoption of the final communique of this visit, which I deem to be very important and very successful. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, dear journalists.
His Excellency Lorenzo, you earlier mentioned the need, the importance of relying on the potentials of the two countries and not to look outside, which is something our President Akufo-Addo has been talking about. How important is it for the two leaders to ensure that this thing gets to leadership of the continent as well? Because when we rely on our potential, that is where I think we can help solve our development challenges as a continent. How important, how crucial is it? Mr. President, you can also come in after probably he's done. Thank you very much.
President Lorenzo.
How important we consider the need of trusting in our capacities and our own resources, not only material ones, but as human capabilities. It is very important, because otherwise we wouldn't have signed and we wouldn't have established the African Continental Free Trade Area. We have established that organization precisely because we consider as being very important looking inside, looking at our continent at the first stage before we from outside. And that is a sentiment not only of the two heads of state present here, of Angola and Ghana, but virtually it's a consensus among the heads of state of Africa that the way forward is this one.
It's obvious. Nobody's going to come and resolve your problems for you. If you don't resolve them for yourselves, they'll stay your problems. But if you can cooperate and understand that at the end of the day, you have to find a way forward yourself, I think it's the beginning of a lot of realizing the potential of our continent. So I have absolutely no hesitation in saying I endorse in full the statements that President Lourenço has made and the general perspective that he has on the problems of our continent.
Any more questions? Yes, Danajua, Net2 TV.
Hello, thank you very much. Mr. President, I would like to know in brief the detail on this Memorandum of Understanding on General Cooperation on critical areas. Which are these critical areas and how is it going to benefit both countries, especially Ghana? Thank you.
What we have done is to set up a consultative mechanism which would enable us to have periodic exchange of views across the broad spectrum of national matters. I mean, particular matters can be identified and stressed. Of course, the development of our hydrocarbon resources, our mining, our agriculture, our education, these specific areas. But generally, what the agreement has done is to set up a mechanism whereby our two countries, on a regular basis, it doesn't take the visits of presidents, but on a regular basis, officials of our two countries can meet and consult and agree or disagree or find ways of working together for our future growth and development.
Do we have any more questions, especially from the Angolan side? Yes, Isidro. Isidro is from Angola Public TV. Yeah.
Ok. Muito boa tarde. Eu queria fazer a seguinte pergunta. Portanto, depois deste tete-a-tete que houve, se me for permitida a expressão, portanto, entre o Sr. Presidente de Angola, João Lourenço, e o Sr. Presidente do Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, estamos em condições de aferir que esta visita de Estado do Presidente de Angola foi um sucesso? Se não se importam, eu agradecia o comentário dos Excelências, os dois chefes de Estado, por favor. Obrigado.
Sim, com certeza. Aliás, já eu tive a oportunidade de me referir na minha introdução inicial.
That we consider this visit as being successful. We've been able to achieve the goal that we've set before we left Angola. We have defined to cooperate in very important domains such as in the petroleum sector, whereby both countries are oil producers, to cooperate in agriculture, livestock, in tourism, and others, such as culture, and other sectors that both countries may identify. It is for that reason that we are leaving the city of Accra, the capital of Ghana, very happy with the feeling of mission accomplishment, for the fact of having found a true identity of viewpoints on all issues that we've discussed, on the need of strengthening the African continental free trade area, on the need to boost security in the Gulf of Guinea, and all other matters in the area of international politics apart from the bilateral issues between the two countries. So there was a true identification of viewpoints. So for these and all the reasons, we do consider this visit, not to say was, but is being successful, in as much as we still have part of the program to be complied with this afternoon. And tomorrow we are going to the Parliament, the House of Democracy and Laws. Ghana is an example in terms of democracy here in our region and on the continent as such. And we are going this afternoon to visit the mausoleum of one of the fathers of Pan-Africanism, Kwame Nkrumah, and pay our tribute to that big African figure for the liberation of the continent. So, in a nutshell, I would say that this visit is being very, very successful. Thank you.
From our perspective, this has been an excellent visit. We're very happy to have the president, the Angolan president, with us. We believe that there is the opportunity to strengthen relations between two countries who have the same perspectives on the matters confronting our continent and the world, and that in itself provides an opportunity to deepen the relationship between our two countries, as well as work towards the betterment of our peoples and of our continent. So yes, I'm very satisfied with the visit. I think that the key areas that have been talked about, which President Lourenço has already identified, are areas of considerable concern to all of us, and to find this commonality of views, this near identity of perspectives, can only serve for the betterment of our people. So I'm very happy, and I'm very happy and glad that President Lourenço found it possible within a very busy schedule to come and visit with us here in Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Akufo-Addo. Thank you very much, President Lourenço. We really appreciate your coming to our country, even at the time of COVID. It really tells, the bond and the strength that you want to take these relations between our two countries. We really appreciate it. Members of the media, please stand, keep standing where you are. We're not done yet. I'll hand over to the Director of State Protocol to take over from here.
Thank you, Jeff. The President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Angola, Excelência, Senhor President Juan Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, we thank you very much for the successful press briefing. I now have the pleasure of inviting President Lourenço to sign the guest book.